Good afternoon, everyone. Mary Sloan here with another episode of Inspirational Influencer News. Secrets of people making money while making a difference. And my guest this afternoon is certainly one of those people that has made and is making a big difference for a lot of us who work from home and could really use a virtual expert. So Kathy Goughenour is the founder of Virtual Expert Training. And she's nodding her head because she thinks I managed to not screw up her name totally.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
She teaches professional women how to create six-figure work from anywhere freelance businesses so they can enjoy the freedom, flexibility, and financial security they desire and deserve. As an entrepreneur who built a seven-figure business by outsourcing to virtual experts, Kathy is uniquely positioned to help small business owners find and work with virtual experts to scale their business. And Kathy, we were just chatting, rules her kingdom from a tiny house in a Missouri national forest. So she has everybody's dream home, a beautiful home in a huge property of gorgeous trees, and she doesn't have to take care of them. How cool is that? So Kathy, what's the difference? I know I had to ask, so I'm sure others have the question. What's the difference between a virtual expert, which I hadn't heard of before I talked to you, and a virtual assistant, which is what everybody talks about, their VA, right?
Right. So the simplest way to describe that is a virtual expert is the top 1% of all virtual assistants. And by the top 1%, I mean they're better at what they do because they have narrowed their niche and become an expert at what they do.
And so they get paid more.
And they get paid more, yes. And because they're so good at what they do, they help business owners earn more.
Well, and I mean, it does two things for us business owners. First of all, everybody tells you to niche down. If everybody's your client, you are in serious trouble because everybody doesn't exist, just like nobody doesn't exist, So you have to figure out who's your client and what the heck do you do for them. And so, I mean, if I need a copywriter, I need somebody who is an expert copywriter. I don't need somebody who helps people. You know what I mean?
Right. Somebody who can manage your calendar isn't going to be the same person necessarily that is a really good copywriter.
Well, and it's such a perfect kind of, but look at it from the other side of what we're always telling, because I do a lot of branding with people and help people get branding straight. And part of branding is exactly that, figuring out who you serve and what your expertise is so you can charge higher fees. And, it's sort of like what you are doing with these people is telling them to do exactly the same thing so they can become a virtual expert. I love the cut you've put on that. That's it's really interesting.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Well, I'll tell you that how this came about was I was a virtual assistant and I'm really good at what I do. And, I learned that the more I charged, the better clients I got and the happier I was. But I called myself a virtual assistant and I hit a ceiling and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't charge more. And so I did some research. And what I found out was virtual assistants are considered admins and they really do have a ceiling of what people are willing to pay for them. So when I said, well, what if you hired a virtual expert instead, to those same people, they said, oh, a virtual expert. Yeah, they could charge whatever, depending on what they're an expert in. And I was like, ding, ding, trademarked that name.
Cool. I mean, that's so cool, because it's, as I say, it's just kind of what we all try to tell people as we're coaching them that, if you want to be able to really make a good living from your coaching, you have to know exactly who your client is and what you help them do. I'm looking for people who are transformation experts, who are going to really make a difference with their client, but they can't be for everybody. If you're a transformation expert on weight loss, you don't want skinny people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you can't help everybody. And, and it really comes down to these health coaches, people are health coaches. Well, so what kind of help? Because it's sort of like doctors. Doctors are by and large specialists, yeah, there's the family doctor that has to be kind of a good diagnoser of the problem, but then they send you off because they're not the treatment provider. And, so, it's sort of like, I gather you do a lot of that for people. You are sort of like the family doctor that people come to, and now you're diagnosing the problem and saying, oh, you need an X or a Y. Is that what you do a lot of?
Oh my gosh, that is such a great analogy. I love that so much. Yeah. So if business owners who think, I think I need help, I might need a virtual assistant or whatever that thing is called. If you come to me, I will help you figure out, I will diagnose what you need in a virtual expert in order to accomplish your goals. And I'll do that for free, even.
Wow.
That's how much I love doing it.
Well, that's pretty great, because the doctors don't diagnose for free. That's a big deal.
Oh, no, they definitely do not. They definitely do.
And being the diagnostician is a very important role, because that's kind of like tells you how you're going to get better. And, when we figure out who we serve and what we do for them, it helps us because we actually can make more money and get richer. That's the deal, right?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. And I do use that analogy when helping people identify what their niche should be, or that they should even niche, because I struggled to get some people to realize that they can really make a lot more money when they do narrow their niche, like you were talking about. And I use doctors as an example, because who charges more, that general practitioner or the heart doctor or the brain surgeon or the plastic surgeon, right? Those that specialize earn more.
That's right. And, and that's really what we need to get across to people, is that be that specialist and use the specialist, because, I can imagine that in your business, people that come to you looking for help because their business is growing and they're kind of trying to keep up and grow their business. And they're probably not too sure, okay, so I want to grow, but I'm not sure what I need to grow.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I need to do first, or to outsource first. That's a lot of times what I get. And a lot of times people don't really have an idea of what all is available that they could outsource to an expert. And just a hint, almost everything is available. I used to say the only thing that virtual experts couldn't do was bring coffee to you, and now they could just have it delivered.
There's an app for that.
That's right. There's an app for
that. And but I mean, that's the thing, is that well, copywriters were always sort of niched out there, and people who wanted to have sales letters and things done sort of knew, okay, this is beyond my English, so I better go get an expert. That was kind of one of the first things that I would think of as being a niche that I would want to go if that was important to me, if I was writing a long sales letter or something, I'd want somebody who did a lot of that. But what other kind of niches do you see a lot of that people maybe even don't think of?
Yeah. So bookkeeping. We have many virtual experts who are certified QuickBook Advisor pros, for example. Any kind of software. So, and I highly recommend that if you have a software program, that you make sure that whoever you hire does specialize in that, because you don't want them having to learn it. Or if you do want them to learn it, you can pay less while they learn it. And then once they've specialized in it, then they can charge everybody else more other than you. So for example, I use Kajabi. So I have actually 3 Kajabi experts on my team because I use it that much. I don't know Kajabi at all. I can barely log in, but my experts can go in there and do everything needed and recommend to me how to best use it. Active Campaign. That is a really popular email software program, and I have experts who can do that. And by the way, I use Active Campaign with Kajabi, so my Kajabi experts also know how to use Active Campaign so they can make them work together. Social media. Do you want somebody to do LinkedIn? Do you want somebody to do Instagram? Podcasts. Do you need a podcast manager? Video editing, audio editing, proofreading. Are you writing a book? Do you want somebody to help you get your book designed or written, or I have ghostwriters. Edited, the cover made, formatted, marketed, all of those things. I have experts in all of those things that have gone through my training program.
That's awesome. Because, you listed about a dozen of those things that I have always thought, well, I'll have to learn that someday. I'll have to learn that someday. I'll have to learn that someday. And I'm really bad at that kind of thing in that,
like SEO. I don't want to have to research those keywords. I don't want to have to learn where to put them, how to set them up on my website or anything. So I hired somebody to do that.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And so Kajabi does your websites, right?
Yes, I use Kajabi.
And they also do your funnels and that kind of stuff.
Yes. Kajabi is one of those all-in-one platforms. So like Entreport, that's another one that we have people specializing in. Debsato, we have people specializing in. Any new Kartra, any new software program that comes up that seems like it's going to be big, I make sure we've got somebody in our program who specializes in it, and they go in and they learn it on their own. And when they come to you, you don't get charged for training, learning time, any of that. When you hire a virtual expert, it's somebody who already knows how to do it, and all you have to do, and they'll onboard you and ask you the questions. So, they know your brand, your logo, your font style, whatever it is they need to know in order to do your work.
So you're the madam of virtual experts. People come to you.
Oh my God. I am using that. I am going to use that title. Thank you. Mary, you are hilarious. I am the madam of virtual expert training, and I can hook you up with a virtual expert. Are we going to get in trouble?
I don't think so. There's only us here.
Yeah, it's only us that can get us in trouble anyway. So.
That's right. And we're just streaming to the world. So that's okay. No problem. Nobody will ever know.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. You should be a stand-up comedian. You're very witty.
Oh, good, because I'm taking a class on using comedy and presentation. So I'm glad that I'm witty.
Well, congratulations. You're already implementing it, because you're fabulous.
Oh, thank you. Well, these words pop into my head, It's like,
And I
No.
love that they come out of your mouth too, because some people will censor themselves. And I love it. You're very, very witty. I love it.
Well, somebody would say that was half right, but So, what other things do you help people with? I mean, so we've kind of got the biggies. What other things that we might not think about that people actually would come to you for, and find somebody who could take things off their plate? I mean, it sounds wonderful to have a lot of this taken off your plate.
Yeah. Well, email management and or calendar management. If you're like me, Mary can tell you, I lose track of everything. I was supposed to give her information 3 weeks before I actually gave it to her. And if I used to have someone manage my email, and she would have made sure I got it done. Right now, I don't have anybody managing my email, so I didn't get that done for Mary. Calendar management is especially awesome if you have lots and lots of things that you book, like lots of coaching calls or podcasts or live shows like this. If you book a lot of those things, it's really nice to have somebody manage your calendar, because then you don't have to do that part of it. And you might think, well, doesn't Calendly or Acuity do that kind of stuff? Well, do those things mess up? I will tell you, my calendar is so booked that I can't use just one calendar system and make it really work for me. So I really do need that person to do those emails with somebody and make sure that I do. And then let's take it up another level. So project manager. Do you have any projects? Like, for example, I put on a live event once a year. I have a project manager who oversees that live event to make sure everything gets done on time.
Oh, yes, that would be a very good idea.
Yeah. And she makes sure I get my work done on time too. I'll tell you a really hot new thing that's come up. It's called a dashboard designer. And that's somebody who can put together it looks kind of like a spreadsheet, but a lot fancier. You can tell I don't know how to do this. But for example, I hired the dashboard designer to create a dashboard for my live event, and it updates real time. So we know, like, I'm starting to market it right now. It doesn't happen until April, but you have to market events early to get them filled up. And so she in real time is keeping track of all the marketing that we're doing and how it's actually performing, so that we can go in and edit. Our subject line's not working, our email's not working, is social media not working? And all of that is kept track of, and how much money I'm spending on the event. And then once the event happens, how much profit, how much revenue I bring in, and how much profit I earn. So all of that is in one dashboard. And at a glance, I can see what's happening without having to do any of that. She sets it up and it pulls in the numbers. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. What I love about that is that they can kind of create the type of expertise they'd like. And all they need to do is look at the things that people are doing and struggling with. And they've got, oh, well, this will be another type of expert. And, and you don't even know that it's missing from your life until somebody invents it and says, would you like this? And you go, where have you been all my life?
Let me tell you, that's exactly what happened with this dashboard. And it's actually my project manager who came to me and said, hey, I've learned how to do this. I want to do one for you just to demonstrate what it would be like for an event, because I think you need one for every event. And I'm like, okay, cool. And when she showed it to me, I was like, where do I sign up? Yes. It's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
and you're absolutely right. There's something to specialize in. Like, some people come to me and say, I would like to be a virtual expert and specialize, but I don't know what to specialize on. And I'm like, and they say, I don't really love anything. And I'm like, believe me, I can find something that you will love, as long as you like working online, behind a computer. If you need to be outside and moving or something like that, you're not going to like this. But otherwise, I can find a specialty for you that you will enjoy, because it is that diverse, Mary.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, and we have lots and lots of people. I mean, it's sort of like Restream. I use Restream to stream live to the different platforms that I use. And I was going in there and looking at all the different platforms. Well, they've got platforms I've never even heard of because they have a lot of people who are gamers. Well, I'm not a gamer. I have no idea. But, people actually charge people to watch them game. Can you imagine? I mean, I'm going to go and I'm going to pay $50 to sit and watch this guy play a video game. Are you kidding me? But this is big time. I mean, it's really.
Oh, my grandkids totally do that kind of stuff. My grandkids do.
I mean, so I mean, if there's not an expertise needed yet, wait.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And if something you did specialize in happens to go by the wayside, like, for example, one of the first things that somebody in my group specialized in back in 2008, that software program is gone now. So they just move on to the next thing that's similar, that took its place, right? Like, I'm trying to think of what came before Facebook. MySpace, that's gone.
Yeah.
But anybody that specialized in that could have just moved to Facebook, right? What happens when Facebook's gone? There's going to be something to fill it too.
Yeah. Well, apparently we're going to need a replacement for Twitter, which is okay by me, but.
Hey, you never know. Who can guess with the speed at which our online programming changes? You can't even keep up anymore.
No,
it's impossible.
No. I mean,
that's why you need an expert.
Yeah. I mean, what you could have is an expert on what's the future going to bring, so you could design your life to go where the future is, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I thought of another one that a lot of people don't think about. If you need help getting booked on podcasts or getting booked as a speaker, we have an expert in that.
And that's so good because, now there are so many things that people could and should be on podcasts for. And I might want to talk to them because, I'm doing a lot of branding and I'm, creating people now as getting press ready. So if you want to get press ready, one of the things that really is now the press is podcasts, right? And
oh yeah.
So I mean, because what's the press? The press is just the people with the audience. And so who has your audience? And so that's something you and I should maybe talk about, because we could get an expert who finds your audience for you, because
that's exactly
finding
right.
the ideal audience for you is how you absolutely can be shown at your best. So, I mean, talk about being press ready, knowing who has your audience. So where do you go? Because I belong to JV Directory, for example, and they've got 500 different podcasters in there. Well, that's not even a raindrop in the ocean of podcasts that are available out there, and even these various platforms that match you up, there's Podmatch and Podbeam, and I don't even know. I mean,
I know, I don't either. It's crazy.
So,
and by the way, that's where you and I met, I believe, was JV Directory.
That's right. That's right. And there's another specialty. And I mean, there's another one that we probably need an expert to find out all the JV opportunities out there for those of us who like JVs. And JVs, for those who don't know the lingo, are just joint venture partners. And so you find people who have your audience already who will agree for a referral fee to send their audience to your program or to your event or to whatever. And,
right.
And
I actually do have somebody that specializes in that. She calls herself an affiliate manager.
Oh, cool.
And she'll either set up your affiliate program and find people to be an affiliate for you, or vice versa, whatever you're looking for. And she's actually working with me to set up an affiliate program for me because I don't have one yet.
Well, and I mean, there's another whole world that has exploded, is this whole JV affiliate thing. I mean, affiliates used to be around products, right? I mean, somebody'd come out with a software and they'd market it through a bunch of affiliates. But now it's people in the coaching world who have, actually trainings and coaching programs and that kind of thing that they would like help filling up. So JVs are perfect, because if you have that person's audience, you can help them out, and you'll do your audience a favor too if the person has a good product, because you will have referred them. And so it's a really neat
way. Yeah, I'd much rather pay somebody to go out there and talk about my program or share about my program and pay them a commission rather than paying Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever.
Well, and it's sort of like the lingo that we use, right? I mean, you've got to be a lingo specialist because we all have specialized words that we use in our area of expertise. And all of a sudden, to talk to somebody who doesn't have it, it's kind of like lost in translation. You have to get somebody who can translate what they just said to you into your lingo, because I'm often inviting people into my iHack club because I hate acronyms. And so but we have so many friggin' acronyms, so I decided
we have acronyms or acronyms.
I figured I'd start the iHack, I hate acronyms club.
That's hilarious. See, there you are again. If you need to share homework where you've done the work to be humorous within your material, you got this to prove it.
Well, it's interesting, but I mean, I guess I have a quirky side of me, and I can see things from a different angle. And that really is what makes people comedians and makes people virtual experts. And they don't have to be funny. They just have to have that quirky nature that says, oh, have you looked at it from this direction? Or have you looked at it from that direction? Because oftentimes, what you've talked about as virtual experts, lots of us, and I include myself in the lots of us, wouldn't even kind of think, like you said, the dashboard expert. What the heck's a dashboard and why do I need one? But a lot of people are putting on events. I'm partnering with a lady who is going to go and learn how to put on events. Well, but she doesn't obviously, when you're running the event and taking care of the participants, you don't have time to worry about the logistics and are they in the right room, and are they seeing the right slides, and what if the slide deck gets messed up or whatever. So you want,
and keeping people on time. And I mentioned I put on a live event every year. I also put on a virtual event every year. So I go from one event to the next, right? Preparing. And they're both just as
labor intense.
That's the wording I was looking for. Labor intensive. They really are. The only difference is you don't have to physically go somewhere for the virtual one, but otherwise it's just as labor intensive.
Yeah. And
I have an entire team that works on that year round.
Well, yeah, and if you're serious about your events, that's exactly what you have to have, because that shouldn't be your business unless it is, right? I mean,
yeah, and it is not my business. I just want to show up and talk and have a full audience
that wants to listen to what you have to say.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And so, I mean, it's just like I haven't hired anybody to do anything with respect to this live show, but there's certainly things that I could be hiring people to do, particularly around, the marketing and managing the guests to be sure that they're ready and I have their material and that everything is set up and ready to go. And, so somebody who's running, you talk to these people who have podcasts and it's like a drug. Well, I have one podcast, then I have two podcasts, then I have three podcasts, then I have four podcasts. Right?
Yeah, I hear you. I know, I hear you.
I mean, I talk to podcast hosts all the time. I don't think any of them have one. It's like, are you a slow learner? Why do you only have one? Like, I don't get it.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, I can't believe that we have come to the end of our half hour. Time flies.
Oh my gosh, me neither. That was so fast.
I know. It never seems like enough time. But I have put your link in the description around this so people can get hold of you. And I'm sure if you look on LinkedIn or on Facebook for the virtual expert, because she's trademarked it, clever gal, you aren't going to have a big problem finding it because, it's cool because everybody wants a VA, but we haven't really kind of thought that through really well because we don't really want a generalist. We really want somebody who will do some specific thing. Now, there may be, people that want somebody who's okay at a few things so that they can get one person and have them do 3 or 4 different things. But by and large, you'd sooner have somebody for an hour a day who does one particular thing and does it extremely well. And that they just did it way better than you could have done it. And you don't have to worry about it. Because I've had a number of VAs that I've worked with. And, some of them were okay on their own, but most of them weren't. And part of that is because nobody ever told them that they should take responsibility. And it is that taking responsibility where, and some of them, when I suggested they take responsibility, they were like, oh, great. You mean I can be responsible? So I can tell them what to do? Yeah, that would be a really good idea. And so, they all of a sudden went, oh, good, I can do that. But, they don't necessarily think they can. But a virtual expert would think, oh, yes, I can do that. And I should do that. And they're counting on me to do that. So that's
exactly right. I call those the 3 Ps that make someone really good at what they do. And it's professional. They create the contract. They do they onboard you. You don't have to be in charge of them. Okay. Proactive. They bring ideas to you. They make suggestions. They say, hey, I was looking at your this, and what do you think about trying this? Or, hey, I know a way we could save money. What if we did this? So that's proactive. And third is problem solving. Instead of coming to you and saying, hey, this doesn't work, they figure it out.
Oh my God.
I know. So that's what I teach. I teach those 3 Ps.
Well, I've got a new one for you because there's a new entity out there that I'm doing tomorrow, which is a virtual dinner party. I'm calling it a virtual branding party. And I haven't seen anybody who's helping people. And there's a lot of moving parts with this virtual party. So there's another expertise that we can help somebody, somebody become virtual, dinner party
experts. That's right. I love it.
So just like that, poof. And we've got another expertise.
Another one.
Another one bites the dust.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway, this has been so much fun, and I'm
Oh,
certainly glad
Mary,
to have
thank
had
you
you.
so much. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I just try to have a good time while we're having a conversation.
Well, I definitely had a good time. You got me laughing more than I've laughed all day.
Oh, good. Anyway, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon. Take care.
Okay. Bye, Mary. Thank you.